Hey, let's start.
We can have a lot of creative initiative, but also really consider our priorities and values. Okay, here I am on planet Earth. What the hee-haw am I going to do with my life? What do I really care about? How do I really want to spend my time when I'm not distracting myself, in order to spend it?
Okay, one of the first things that struck me about her is that sleep. She is not sleep last or sleep demon. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it as like a giveaway.
And then this gets back to our conversation a little bit earlier about finding your passion. So I think that one of the big problems now that's very misguided about this idea of finding your passion, it's almost as if people are looking to fit the key into the lock of the thing that was meant for them to do.
Right, and then everything will feel like a natural progression.
Right, and then everything will be wonderful.
Yeah, I can attest to the fact that is not how it works in any endeavor.
Right, and then you'll have all this great success. And here's where I really think the answer lies, and I really, really believe this. Stop looking for your passion.
Okay, look at the fingers. She is blasting right now. She is telling other people, she is telling us what to do, and this is blast.
Instead, look around right where you are. Stop distracting yourself. Look around right where you are and see what needs to be done. So not what do I want to do, but what is the work that needs to be done?
Okay, this is blast over consume. I remember Lana Del Rey was waking up in the morning and like, what do I want to do today? What will make me happy today? And she says the exact opposite. She says, wake up and look around what needs to be done, what is required of you to do to get to good conclusions,
And more importantly, it doesn't have to be some grandiose work. Like, does the garbage need to be taken out, right? Is there some garbage on your neighbor's lawn that someone threw there that you could actually bend over and pick up and put into the garbage can? Look.
Okay, this is so weird because it doesn't have to be grandiose, which I feel like with NI it is more grandiose. But with SI it's more simple. It's like, take out the trash. Look at the simple things like around you. Oh, the trash needs to be taken out, like very basic, but it needs to be done. And you as a blaster, if you wake up, your eyes are open. It's not what do I need to do for myself today? How can I improve myself today? How can I make myself happy today? It's what needs to be done, what is expected of me to do. Yeah.
Look around you. There is so much work that needs to be done that nobody wants to do that is really, really important. And if we all did that, I really think the world would be a much better place. And this is what people who have severe addiction who get into recovery realize. They're like, it's not about me and my will and what I'm going to will in my life or in the world. It's about looking around what needs to be done. What is the work that I am called to do in this moment?
Okay, this is, I'm just gonna simplify this a lot, but let's look at addicts as like a consumers, like consuming more and more and more and more. I want this more and more, like just can't stop. And blast would be the opposite of that, like not what I want, not what I need, not what I require in this moment, but what needs to be done. So yeah, this is, I think she is blast, sleep, sleep, blast, overplay, consume, and this narrows her down very well. Let's see here.
Nation, you also describe some amazing paths to recovery. People that, from reading it, I won't say which ones and who, because there's some great surprises in the book too, both tragic and triumphant, as they say. You've often described your patients as your heroes.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about that.
When you think about how hard it is to give up a drug or a behavior that you're addicted to, how much courage that takes and fortitude and discipline and stick-to-itiveness, these people are really amazing people. I mean, that's,
other people,
I don't know that I could do it, what they do, it's, and like, we talked about,
I'm not sure if I can do what other people are doing. So it's almost like DE, other people above me.
A little bit about, just the constant, ever-present urge to use, even after sustained periods of abstinence for some people. That's really, really hard. And of course, then you double down on the shame that they feel because of that urge, even when their lives are so much better. I mean, these people are really, really remarkable. And you take their remarkable accomplishment, and then you imagine the world that we live in now, where we are constantly invited and tempted and really bombarded with opportunities to become addicted.
Okay, it is all we talk. We are all feeling shame. We are feeling guilty. We are all bombarded. We and feelings. Maybe FE question mark.
feeling an itch everywhere.
Oh yeah, and you can't escape it. You cannot escape it. You'll get an email in your inbox inviting you to do X, Y, or Z. And if you're addicted to that thing, you try to like delete all your apps and not go here. All of a sudden, your work inbox, you're getting those images. Let's say really, really, really hard. And yet these people find a way to do it. I think it's absolutely amazing, and they're really wise people. They have so much wisdom to offer. They've taught me a lot. As I talk about in my book, I have my own addictions, and I really just like took a page right out of their book. Okay, what do I do now? All right, what did this patient do? Okay, I'm going to try that.
It is an amazing community.
Okay.
The people
What you do, like how you decide on what to do, is how did this other patient did that. So I'm just gonna take. She is the one that is leading them, but in some sense, the roles are reversed, and she's taking help from them. With the DE, it's like what this X person did, I can do to help me. Looking at other people for help in a way. What did they go through? And it's wise. You don't have to go through everything on your own and discover things on your own. So yeah. It's wise to do that. Like all the DIs listening, look at other people, how they fix their problems, and cheat a little bit,
Lie about why I was late to work this morning, which we all do. Oh, I hit traffic. No, I didn't hit traffic. I wanted to spend 2 more minutes reading the paper and drinking my coffee, right? Or just lying about, I don't know where I had dinner. Like, so people with addiction will get into, the lying habit where they're lying about random stuff because they're sort of in the habit of lying. And how recovery is really about telling the truth, in all ways. And so one of the things that I had a lot of fun with in writing the book is sort of exploring the neuroscience around why truth telling is important to leading a balanced life. And we know like every religion since the beginning of time is all about telling the truth. Well, why, right? And there's really interesting neuroscience behind it that suggests that when we...
Why? Why is the open-ended question that she doesn't necessarily answer. But the answer is, what she found to be answer is telling the truth.
Tell the truth, we actually potentially strengthen our prefrontal cortical circuits and their connections to our limbic brain and our reward brain. And of course,
okay, 2 other things. This is not a single decider, in my opinion. It's not about identity. It's about understanding the information and getting the information across. I think she is an infodom and she is an observer. One other interview that I watched with her is she was in the movie called Social Dilemma. And she said she expected that everybody already knew what the movie was about, the information that movie wanted to convey. And when she got the response of, wow, people really don't know that. People really reacted interestingly to this. I thought everybody knew, but apparently not. So her conclusion was ... Therefore, information is really circled, like in our own circles we are talking about it and we think everybody knows these things, but other people are not even aware of these addictions or these devices that lead to addictions. So her advice to other practitioners was just get the word out and just teach people about the information. So I think she is infodom, and as you can see here, she is referring to researches like sensory and things that are already proven. And when things push comes to shove, energy DOMs refer, I feel like energy DOMs are more sensory in terms of when they're talking about something, they're like, oh, my mom did this thing, whereas info DOMs completely turn into info and cut the people out of that information. And now she's talking about, well, we have this thing in our brain and this chemistry in our brain and this dopamine hit in our brain. So I think she's infodom and observer and sensory and blast sleep, which makes her SI.
These are the circuits that get disconnected when we're in our addiction, right? Our balance in our reward pathway, our limbic brain, our emotion brain is doing one thing, and our cortical circuits are completely disengaged from that, ignoring what's happening, which is easy to do because it's reflexive. We don't need to really show that. So I find that really fascinating. Plus, just that like being open and honest with people really does create very intimate connections, and those intimate connections create dopamine. So we were talking a little bit about how you know a bunch of people who need like intensity in their lives. For me, I need a lot of intensity in my human connections. Like I'm really not interested in and bored by and made anxious by casual interactions. But like having this kind of discussion with you that's very intense and also intimate and self-disclosing is very rewarding for me. So that's an important source of dopamine. Thank God I became a psychiatrist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Right? Like I can't disclose all my stuff, but I am quite transparent with my patients, which is slightly unorthodox. But when I think it's right, I'm also transparent with them. So that's a source of dopamine too when we're on.
Okay, so it's DE, FE, the connections are really important to them. And there is one more thing that I want to talk about here is that when she's referring to other people, okay, let me backtrack a little bit. how she is not a decider. Yes, I think she is DE, I think she is FE, but not an FE, say like FE first. It's because there are other people telling her like, oh, we get addicted because we don't have we are not connected to other people in our lives. And she says, yeah, that can be true. Like when people are alone, they're more likely to become addicted when they feel lonely. But when you have perfect friends, perfect spouse, perfect kids, and having like a really good life, you can still be addicted to things, which she refers to herself and says, I'm addicted to love novels, and I really don't really lack connections in my life. So I think what she is referring to there is, even if you have the DE, even if you are telling the truth and you're true to yourself, you can still be addicted, because it is the thing that is making you addicted. Like it is the device, it is the TV show, it is the chocolate, it's the cocaine, it's the heroin. So what she's saying there is, yes, decider stuff is important, but it doesn't end there. It goes one step beyond, and that is the observer stuff. So let's see what type I got for her. And ta-da, this is the type I have for her. And that's, to be honest, that's the bias that I started with. I thought she would be ISFJ, and I typed her ISFJ. So maybe I'm just bias typing her, but oh well. I'm really happy to get to know her. The part where she is talking about pain and pleasure are a coin, and they're co-located in our brain, and when you get more pain, your neurotransmitters are numbing themselves for pleasure, and the other way around. And how we get addicted, because that pain and pleasure just swings one way and gets stuck there, even though our brain is constantly trying to neutralize our pain and pleasure swings. So it was really important there, and I will. And what she recommends is, let's get on to more advice. She recommends intermittent fasting, of cutting down on the dopamine hit of like, okay, you can eat chocolate, it's free, you can get it, like you can buy a lot of chocolates in quantity, in quality, and it's really easy to get chocolate. So really narrowing it down. And she says, have a days with your family where you don't look at technology, and just trying to get those dopamine hits less and less, so that way you will not swing very harshly to the other way, which is the pain swing. It was really great to get to know her. I really think everyone watches her this week. I normally don't try to get to know the person or what they're saying necessarily. I'm just trying to type them and move on. But this was really good to, like, for this time, it was really important for me to get to know her message and how we get addicted and what is the dopamine. And she has a book called Dopamine Nation. Maybe I can consume that also. So yeah, we will see. Let me know what you typed her as, and we can maybe argue. I do think she's ISFJ. I think I typed her correct, but yeah, we will see. Bye bye.